What's up, guys? What's up? Welcome to the Zoom tonight. My name is Wes Bewley. I'm joining you from Austin, Texas. Let me know in the chat real quick where in the world you are watching from. We always love to see where people are joining us. And, tonight's going to be fairly brief. I'm going to talk fast, and there's some very exciting things happening and some even more exciting things about to be announced. I'm going to dive into it. And obviously, if someone invited you on here tonight, they're obviously very excited and passionate about what we're doing. And I respect you for taking a look at this. A lot of times, I remember when I used to, have four jobs and just kind of go through my days and nothing would really change. And I'd always wonder, what is going to change? And it was someone inviting me on a phone call like this and me accepting the invitation and saying yes that changed everything about my life. So we're just going to dive in tonight, and obviously we're going to tell you guys about Make Wellness. And before I do that, though, I want to kind of give you just a time glance of where we are now, what we've done since we launched in March, and what that means for you and where we're going, and we'll just dive in. So glad you guys are here. So let me share my screen. Let me know in the comments. Can you guys see my screen? Can you guys see where it says Make Wellness, and these people they're like holding a volleyball. Okay. All right. So real quick, I'm just going to kind of dive in and just kind of talk to you real quick about your timing. Then we'll kind of get into what in the world is Make Wellness. But I want to give you kind of a timeline of events because it's really important compared to, what we're going to talk about the rest of the night and what's about to be announced on the 15th. So in October of 2024, so just, a little over a year ago, the last 4 days of the month, we opened up for something called a pre-launch. A pre-launch is where you're still kind of trying to get things in order. Your website's really not working yet. Your shipping's not really squared away just yet. So we call it a pre-launch, and we pre-launched from October through March of this year. And so then March was our official start date. So a pre-launch would be like, if you bought a restaurant and it's like you're not really, you're inviting kind of like friends and family to come eat, but it's not really open to the public yet. That's a pre-launch. Well, we opened our pre-launch the last 4 days of October, and in those 4 days, we did $6.4 million, guys. This is unheard of. I mean, it's unheard of. In fact, our credit card processor at the time actually froze our account because they'd never seen 6.4 million come in 4 days. They're like, dude, what's going on? We're like, no, it's legit. The demand's just, that real. And so that was, a little over a year ago. Well, like I said, March of 2025. So March of this year was our official launch date. So our official year to year launch will be March 25 to March 2026. So officially, we haven't even been opened a year yet. Does this make sense? And, so far what's happened is in September, we've already done over $100 million in revenue. And we actually broke the all-time record for, nutraceutical launches, affiliate marketing. And I mean, this is like legendary stuff no one's ever heard of. This is something that, I mean, every company that starts wants to do, and we're actually doing it, and we're not even at our full year yet. And we've already broke that record in really seven official months. The previous record holder did a little over 100 million in 12 months. So this kind of exciting, again, this is not an investment opportunity. This is not a stock. But if this was a stock, if this was an investment, I hope I would have your full attention right now. I mean, this is ridiculous. And, the same way I look at a business like this is the same way I look at it as an investment. So if something would be like if a company like this would be something I would invest in stock wise, then it would also be something I would be very interested in pursuing as an affiliate. Does this make sense? So that's that just happened this past September. Just to give you kind of a context, AG1, some of you guys know AG1, is talked about on the Joe Rogan show. It took them 11 years to reach 100 million in revenue, and that's with like so much money in venture capital. It took them 11 years to reach that. And now it's a $1 billion global brand that you guys all recognize, right? You either love it or you hate it. A lot of people hate it, but some people love it. It's great. So, I'm gonna give you a couple of historical examples of this. So in 2009, And you guys may have heard of these companies, but in 2009, there was a company called Monavi, and they did 67 million their very first year. They now held the record of the biggest launches of all time, and they went on to become a $1 billion company within 5 years. Then right after them, there was a company called Nerium that came along in 2011. They did a little over 100 million in their first 12 months, and they also reached a $1 billion a year company within 5 years. So Nerium has held that record ever since. And, of course, then we just did it in 11 months unofficially and 7 months officially. Now, here's what's crazy. You'd see this and go, oh my gosh, I missed it, right? Here's what's wild about this. We are still in something called pre-momentum. So, anytime a company starts or a restaurant starts or whatever, you got a new restaurant concept. I like to eat, so I guess I always try to use restaurants as analogies. But you kind of start off with this idea phase, right? And the idea phase is probably the most risky just because the most things can go wrong during the idea phase, right? You don't even know if the market's going to be receptive necessarily, right? Well, now here we are kind of in this pre-momentum launch phase. And then the next one after this is you have a company that gets into momentum. So one of the old adages you've probably heard over your life is you've heard people say, well, you got to get in early. The person that gets in early makes the most money or whatever. That's just some kind of like redneck saying because it's absolutely not true. What you want to do is you want to be early on momentum. Okay. You want to be early on momentum. And that's where you guys are now. And as a matter of fact, our 5 year goal. So by 2030, our goal is to be $1 billion a year in sales. And that would actually surpass the growth of Tesla, Airbnb, Zoom, TikTok, and Uber. So tonight, I could impress anything upon you, it'd be that you're not hearing about some little rinky dink Cracker Jack box opportunity, right? Like this is absolutely the most legit thing you'll lay your eyes on over the next few years and beyond. And you're hearing about it tonight. So huge congrats. And again, thanks for accepting the person's invitation to take a look tonight. I respect that either way. Now, I do want you to earmark a date, December 15th. We're going to have some game changing announcements. If you're in the chat, comment game changer, okay? And I'll cover a little bit more about this at the very end, but it's going to be a very historical call. And all I could tease you with right now is I could say I'd give you about 105,000 reasons why you want to be on that call December 15th. That goes for everybody watching, okay? So now that I've kind of laid a little bridge of kind of where we are and what we've done in this short amount of time and where we're going, let's first just talk about what in the heck are even peptides. Someone invited you on here that probably told you we have these first in the world bioactive peptides. Let's kind of just let me dive into that for just a second. So I want you to think of peptides as text messages for your body. A peptide is the only natural molecule that can directly communicate with your DNA. And it can tell your DNA to regulate your hormones, improve your neuron transmitters and focus, improve your skin health, hair, nails, gums, increase your lean muscle tissue, help with sleep, help with stem cell production, help with your joints and ligaments. A peptide can do that. The problem is that most peptides break down during the digestion process. So, a lot of you guys eat protein from either plants or animals. So it starts off looking like this on the left. This is a protein, necklace. And then your body, your large intestine mainly starts to break that protein necklace into peptide chains. And then your small intestine starts to break these peptides into amino acids. And amino acids are typically what actually get absorbed into your bloodstream. But if you could ever get a peptide into your bloodstream, then now it could directly communicate with your DNA. And so that's what we've been able to do tonight is we've figured out and have cracked the code on how to get a peptide into your bloodstream. But more importantly, if you could get one into your bloodstream without injections, meaning you didn't need a needle, my friend, that would be the holy grail. You see, right now, for the past 40 or so years, synthetic peptides have been really the only way you could get peptides into the body. They're, injected with the syringe most often. They're expensive. They have complex usage schedules. There's possible side effects that come with them. And sometimes there's a 60 to 90 day, load up to be able to start to see results. Whereas what you're hearing about tonight is a first in the world solution that's ingestible. They come in like delicious ready to mix drink beverages in capsule form. They're affordable, they're simple to use, there's zero side effects, they're fast acting, they're high impact. They work, darn near immediately. And so this is really big news because, the peptide industry itself probably, I think it's projected to be about a $267 billion a year industry by the next, couple of years. Well, 95% of that are, I'd say really 98% of that synthetics. People don't know they have a choice. And the real opportunity in life, guys, is finding a market that's an exploding market. And I would say peptides are probably the most exploding market you could possibly join right now. And then having something that's unique within that market. In the topic of synthetics, like synthetics are great, right? You know why I don't sell synthetic peptides is because every Tom, Dick, and Harry can sell and is selling synthetic peptides. So every day that goes by, if I'm selling synthetic peptides, every day that goes by, I'm getting more and more competition. The genius would find a subset that's a different way of doing it, which is a bioactive precision peptide. Guess how many people don't like needles? Guess how many people don't like big pharma? That's the opportunity, my friend. And guess what? You have no competition. So this is massive, massive stuff. Now, if you look at your possible customer, you might say, well, who would buy peptides? Well, see if this sounds familiar. We call this the burnout loop. So this is every single person that you're connected to, every single person that you know, they this kind of shows you the burnout loop. So they get stressed. That stress leads to poor sleep. That poor sleep causes them to lose muscle. That losing muscle causes them to crush their metabolism. Now they start to gain fat. Now that they're gaining more fat, that depletes their energy even more. Now they're more stressed. You see what I'm saying? Does that sound familiar to anybody on here tonight? That's most of the people that you know. The breakthrough loop is you have less stress. This gives you, recharged energy. This cranks your metabolism. This torches your fat. This builds more lean muscle. This helps you get deeper sleep, which leads to more or less stress, more energy, more metabolism. You see what I'm saying? So that's the breakthrough loop. And that's what these products can do. So, in the topic of fit, this is one of my favorite products. And this is a product that tastes like, like a orange sunset julep or something. That was a lot of fancy words. I don't even know what that would taste like, but I just say Sunny Delight. And it increases your performance 54%. It reduces your fatigue by 47%. It gives you 4 times the muscle protein synthesis of that of whey protein. It improves your recovery 103%. This is an amazing, amazing product. And this shows you a couple of biopsies of the increase in type 1 and type 2 muscle fibers when you consume fit versus when you don't. So it's like, can you imagine showing this to anyone and them saying, I want to be the guy on the left? No, you want to be the person on the right. And that's what happens when you drink fit. Same thing, this one here shows the total increase in number of muscle fibers when you drink fit versus when you don't. So our whole platform is based on helping you build lean muscle tissue. Losing weight and all that kind of stuff. We're not trying to help you lose weight because a lot of times losing weight comes with losing muscle. But I will say that a lot of people lose visceral fat and preserve their lean muscle tissue when they get on fit and lean. Okay. So lean is the second product, the second most popular product. And what's cool about our clinicals is with lean, in the clinicals, the average person lost 6% body fat. 65% of that was around their core, which is like their stomach area. But there was a 0% reduction in lean muscle mass. You've never heard of a product in your life that could help you constantly turn visceral fat, which is also known as white fat, into beige fat, which your body can now burn without losing lean muscle. This also communicates with your hunger hormones, ghrelin and leptin. So it kind of helps you with your appetite cues. And so the combination of these two together, fit and lean, this probably makes up about 85% of our sales, okay? Until we just launched our next big peptide. We just launched it last month, so you're still brand new to it. This is nearly 10 times the size of anti-aging category, and it's the sleep industry. It's a $580 billion industry as of 2024. So a lot of times when people think of pillars of wellness, they think of nutrition and fitness, What are you eating and when are you working out? That's kind of all we think about. But there's a third pillar, which is sleep. Okay. Now, sleep, there's a lot of misconceptions around sleep. A lot of us think that the solution to better sleep are sleep aids or hormone supplements and prescription drugs. And, the thing that people don't understand is that sedatives don't give you sleep, they steal it. They replace the healing process of true restorative sleep with unconsciousness, okay? Well, we've got this new technology called NeuroSync technology. These peptides, work with your body. This comes from nature. It's clinically shown to rebalance cortisol and improve deep and REM sleep. And so this is what it looks like. It's a little capsule like this. You just take it right before bed. And in clinicals, the average person saw a 72% increase in deep sleep, a 66% increase in REM sleep, and on average, they had 91 more minutes of productivity the following day. So what this is this is a 4D sleep product. Okay, so it's can you fall asleep? Can you stay asleep? How do you feel when you wake up? And then how do you feel throughout the day? There's actually four stages of sleep. So this is massive, massive, massive. Okay. Now, just to give you a little bit of a stat comparison, if we take those three products right there, Fit, Lean, and Restored, that's 289. Okay. Well, if I wanted to compare that to getting on a stack of peptides that are synthetic, one to two peptides are going to cost me between $600 to $900 a month. And that's kind of on the cheap side. Obviously, it depends on where you get them, but the synthetic market is kind of like, I mean, it's considered a black market drug, so you never really are sure of the quality in most cases. But ours is 289, so we're more than half of a synthetic. You actually get more peptides, and you don't have to use needles, and you don't have to support big pharma. So it's a massive, massive opportunity for the right person, obviously. Now, I would say, as far as this goes, to make sure you're on that call on the 15th, because the deal might get even better. I'm not sure, but I would definitely be on that call. So even if the deal didn't get better, though, even if there wasn't a call on the 15th, I would say I mean, this is a smoking deal that you could just crush all day long. So when it comes to the affiliate side of things, there's three ways that we get paid, and you can earn up to 40% on your personal production. I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. And I'm actually going to have you guys hear from a young lady named Leslie tonight. And then you can earn up to 8% overrides on your team sales if you choose to do that. So think of it as if you owned an agency or you owned a med clinic, right? And you brought people on and they sold peptides. Well, if the manufacturer would pay you a royalty on that, that's kind of how that works. And then if, as your team and you do more and more volume, then you can pick up an additional $50 to $100,000 per month. Plus, you can earn incentive trips. In fact, if anybody watching was on the trip to Mexico, let us know in the comments and let us know if you had a good time. So we kind of have this real simple system. It's called promote, share, earn. All right. And there's two ways that you can promote this product. You can do it online and offline. So, like, offline, I'm a part of a car club. These guys ask me what I do. I tell them they want to try it. I sample them. Now they want a link. They order them. That's offline, right? You never see that. But then you can also build it online. And if you're going to build it online, you can do it one of two ways. You can do content creation where you're like really thinking through these reels and really acting stuff out and really making it nice. Or you could do documentation. And I feel like every person watching could do documentation because all you're doing is just documenting your peptide journey. Does this make sense? You may not want to like go make reels all day and all that kind of stuff, but if you can at least document the behind the scenes of your life and share what's happening and the results you're getting with the people that follow you, you can build a massive business online. So this is my friend Brittany. Last month she had 617 in circle cells. And again, this swing is anywhere from a 10 to 40% profit on your personal sales. So the more sales you do, the higher the profit is that you earn. So she did 617 last month and she earned 12% on that. And then you can see my friend Micah, he did 1298. He earned 14% on that, 14%. You can see my friend Charles, he's a veteran who advocates for PTSD awareness. He did 2087. He earned 20% of that. All right, this is even one of my little posts on Instagram. Okay, I did a little post on what are peptides, just educating. And you can see where this girl's asking, she's asking for info on the peptides. So last month I had 27 customers. I did 5,700 in sales. I earned 22% on that from that one way. You can see my friend Molly. She just has fun and, talks about peptides. You can see where all these people are commenting, asking her for info. So we teach you largely we teach you attraction marketing, but you can see where she's educating or she's documenting and then they're asking her for info. Well, it's not really salesy anymore because they're asking you. So then you're just giving them what they asked for. And, last month she did 10,021 in sales. She earned 2,405 bucks there. And this is my friend Leslie. Last month she did 10,000 in circle sales. She earned 24% of that, which is like 2,400 bucks. But what was cool about Leslie, she just started, a few months back. And one of the things that she did is she got her family involved with the business. And so she set goals for the business with her family. And one of those goals was if we hit XYZ in volume, then we're going to take you to Disney World. And this summer, they did exactly that. This is literally them at Disney World. So it's just such a cool story. So I want to have Leslie come on here and just share what her experience has been, and then we'll continue.
Hi, thank you so much. Yeah, it's so exciting to watch the recap too, and just how this is transforming so many people's lives. And not to be dramatic, but this has completely been the most pivotal 7 or 8 months of my life, I would say, in recent years, because not just with my health, but with, my finances and my family. So I am a little background. I'm a mobile IV nurse. I was a labor and delivery nurse for 10 years. I was actually giving Wes an IV back in March. He had the flu and I was just kind of listening to him talk about the peptides on a Zoom call. I started asking him questions and I got on a call that very night. That's why he was getting the IV, was to be on a call just like this. And I was like, "Oh, sure, I'll get on your Zoom call and I'll hype up the chat." And then I got on and I was like, when you have those moments in your life where like the hair just kind of raises in the back of your neck and I'm like, I cannot ignore ignore this. And I was pretty, a pretty health conscious person already. I was already exercising 5 to 7 days a week and eating clean. And I had tried like carnivore diet. I'd been vegan for a while, vegetarian. Just I feel like I tried so many things and it was very difficult for me to put on muscle, especially when I would quote diet. I would always lose muscle and then lose weight in like the areas that you didn't want to lose it necessarily. So when I first tried these, I had like an immediate transformation with my energy and my workouts just were insane. Like I just remember texting my friend Truly and Meg, they're on here now, saying like, I don't know what's happening to me right now, but I'm not getting tired and I've been working out for like an hour and a half. So to be able to chase around three little kids, have energy all day without crashing, to still have energy at the end of the day, to, it's improved my relationship with my husband, with my kids. I also still work as a nurse. These have just transformed my life in so many ways. And not to mention, I've always been scared to join a company like this. I did join a skincare company last year. That was kind of my first, dipping my toes in with a company like this, but I've never liked I'd never had the marriage of the two things where you liked the product so much, and you also liked the opportunity. I am completely obsessed with these products, and whether I was earning money from them or not, I would still be taking them every single day. And it just so happens that, this is surpassing my nursing income and then some. So I'm extremely grateful for this opportunity, for this family. It really is a family. I have grandparents on my team. I have college students. I have other moms, nurses, nurse practitioners, PAs, like you name it. Like there are so many people here. It doesn't matter where you come from, what demographic. You can have success here and you can transform your health and your life.
That's awesome. Yeah. Guys, give it up for Leslie in the chat. Leslie, thanks so much for coming on and sharing that with these guys. And I'll tell you guys this about Leslie. Like Leslie is one of the most pure, sweet humans I've ever met. I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard the term like that person had a really sweet spirit, just very kind. No wonder she's a nurse, right? I mean, she's exact like when I got sick, I had a 102-degree fever. She literally looked like an angel standing there with an IV bag. I'm like, thank God, you know? But she's just such an incredible person. And it's so cool that if you're a really good person, then you can be very, very successful with this because a lot of people want to work with a really good person, you know? And that's not kind of how I grew up. I grew up out in West Texas, and I was taught that it was harder for a rich man to enter heaven than it was for a camel to walk through the eye of a needle, which is such a crazy thought. And so I always kind of had this thought that like if people made a lot of money, it's because they got over on somebody or did something sneaky or something like that. I don't know if you guys feel that way or not, but sometimes, it's like I used to celebrate when I would see a BMW broken down on the side of the road. I had like a poverty mentality, right? And this was one of the first businesses or career paths I saw where the more I would work on my own personal development and the more I would make other people feel amazing, then, I could become more and more successful. I just thought, man, this is like the coolest thing. Like the better human I can work on becoming, the better person I'll be able to attract, the bigger business I'll be able to build. This is amazing, right? So there's just not a whole lot of things out there that are career paths you could pursue where as you develop yourself personally, it also makes you more valuable in the business. Like growing up in Lubbock, I used to grow up, I was an hour and a half away from Midland, Texas, which at one point had more, multimillionaires than any city in America per capita. By the way, I do love the show Landman. Is anyone watching Landman? Oh my God, it's Billy Bob Thornton at his finest. But that being said, though, if I'd gotten into the oil business, for example, nothing wrong with it. It's great, but I don't think I would be the same person. Does that make sense? Like it would have changed me. That environment would have changed me. This is an environment that can bring out the best in you, not overnight, but over time. It's a personal growth. It's a leadership environment. But then the kind of the icing on that cake is that as you develop yourself personally, you become this better version of yourself, then you start to attract other people that want to work with, awesome people. And it just gets greater and greater and greater. And that's what you're seeing with Leslie's business. So that was a long way of trying to pay Leslie a compliment. So I hope I didn't butcher it. Leslie, you're amazing. So let me just kind of wrap it up with a couple more things and thoughts for you guys, and then we'll go from there. So just two more stories here. This is my friend Kat. She again documents her peptide journey. By the way, do you guys resonate with that of the documenting versus content creation? Do you guys watch this and feel like, okay, yeah, I could document my journey? Does that feel doable to you versus like you need to join Make Wellness and start posting content all day, like does documenting resonate more? Let me know that. It's a new concept. It's what we do, but it's a new concept that I'm kind of trying out tonight. So you can see last month, Kat earned 9,431 by documenting her peptide journey. And I just know, gosh, every 9,431 bucks helps, right? And then this is my friend Holly. Holly loves to bake cookies, literally, like end of sentence. Like that's what she likes to do. She likes to bake healthy snacks, and she has like this huge Instagram as a result. Well, then, she also tells people about other health products that she likes, and she documents her peptide journey. And last month she made 26 G's. So it's like, okay, I could use that. This is my friend Hannah. She did 106,000 in personal sales last month. She earned 42,000. This is just from getting customers, okay? So remember I told you earlier, you can earn up to 40% on your customers in the business that you personally bring in. This has nothing to do with building a team. So for example, in Hannah's case, she's making 40,000 a month. She's not even building she is building a team, but I mean, without even knowing what the rest of her check was, I know that she made that much money just from getting customers. And I think that's pretty cool. So just to give you, kind of come back down to earth a little bit more, because when I heard people making 40 and 25 and 100 and 200,000 a month, I couldn't relate to that day one. I thought, man, if I could make an extra 500 bucks a month with this, that would make my car payment, and that would be really cool to be able to make a car payment with the side hustle. So check this out. Let's say the average order for a customer is 150, and let's say your first month we help you get 5 customers. Well, That would be $100 profit for you. Then let's say by month three, you just kept getting five new customers a month, which is not a tall task. Then now you're making $500 a month. At the end of month six, now you're making 900. If you just kept getting five new customers a month at the end of month nine, you're making 1485. At the end of month 12, you're making just under 2 grand. This is just from, getting five customers a month with an average order of 150. And obviously, guys, it's planet Earth. You know, some people, not everyone's going to stick with the product every single month, but you'll find your core hub of customers that stick with it for decades. This is just a hypothetical, just to give you an example here. But let's talk about 5 years, because guys, 5 years are going to go by whether you log off right now or whether you stay on till the end, which is about 6 or 7 minutes from now. 5 years are going to go by anyways, right? So what if you did partner with us for 5 years? Because just like you heard Leslie say, I never really said anything special to Leslie. She pursued it. She was like, "Yo, I want info. Yo, I'm like laying on my couch with a 102-degree fever, and she's like, "Now tell me about the peptides." And I'm like, "Well, they're bioactive." I'm like sweating. Uh, it's like when she heard it, she's like, "This is for me." And I hope that happens for you tonight, where it's like, I mean, it was that simple because I've never had to like baby her through this business. I don't have to give her little personal pep rallies every day. She is in it to win it, and she's been like that from day one. I would love to work with like 1,000 Leslies. I would love for you to be like that. It's just a choice. It was a choice on her end more than it was anything that I said. But let's just say that you and I, or the person that invited you on here tonight, work together for the next 5 years, because they're going to go by like that. Before you know it, we're going to be planning 2030 New Year's celebration. It'll feel like that. Okay. But what if in that time, at the end of 2026, you were making at least 2,000 a month. At the end of 2027, you were making, just under 5 grand a month now. At the end of 2028, you're making 7,500 a month. At the end of 2029, you're making over 10,000 a month. At the end of 2030, you're making over 15,000 a month. Is there anyone on here tonight that would be upset that you took action tonight? Because this is not crazy. 300 customers over the next 5 years. That's like, what is that? 5 times 365 days. I don't even know. That's so many days. Like Texas public school systems are revealing themselves right now. But whatever, 5 times 365 days, I mean, it's over. What is it? Does anyone know? It's like 1,500, 1,600, 1,700. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot of days. We can't find 300 customers when you have a product that no one else has. Of course we can. Hold my peptides, right? We can do this. If we even just did half of that, and okay, we're making a measly $7,500 a month. Is anyone upset? See what I'm saying? If you keep that kind of perspective, you'll go a really, really long way with this. Okay. My first check in this business was $7.99. So if anyone can beat that, not this business, but this industry, if anyone can beat that, then you're already on a better trajectory than I am. So keep your chin up. So then the second way we earn income is you can earn overrides on your team sales, which I covered a while ago. It's up to an 8% override. And then obviously, as I mentioned as well, you can earn, anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 a month on total team sales, just driving volume, helping people on your team win. Now, the thing I like about this a lot is, okay, hopefully this sounds exciting to you. I mean, gosh, I showed you kind of like how amazing this is so far, but now it's going to come down to the work. Well, what does that look like? Well, we have real simple systems. So the person that invited you on here tonight can send you a link. You just shoot them a text right now and say, "Yo, send me your link. Like, I don't know about this West guy, but I really like the Leslie girl, and I think I want to do this. So send me your link." And you'll get set up in about 2 minutes. Okay. It takes about 2 minutes to become an affiliate. From there, from there, we also have a launch system that you'll go through. It'll kind of get you trained up in about 30 minutes. And then from there, once we help you sell 500 in products, then you're going to earn $100 just like that. When you sell 1,000, you're going to earn 200. And when you sell 2,000, you're going to earn $500. Okay. And these are called income guarantees. And then it just kind of keeps going up from there. But we just keep that first part real simple. And if we can help you do 2,000 in sales your first full month in the business. So tonight is the 10th. You'd actually have till the end of January to do 2,000 total for December and January. Then you'll also earn a Make Moments gift card to your choice of Disney, Nike, Apple, Lululemon, etc. And then from there, we also have a trip that just started to Hawaii. Has anyone ever been to Hawaii before? Guys, I'm gonna tell you, I've been all over the world. I've been to Australia. I've been to Santorini. That was amazing. I've been to South Africa on safari. I've been to Bora Bora. Hawaii is amazing. In fact, Bora Bora is about 5.5 hours past Hawaii. Guys, I've been to Hawaii. I'm stopping at Hawaii. I ain't going all the way to Bora Bora again because Hawaii is amazing. Every green is the darkest green you've ever seen. The blue, you'll see blues in the ocean that your eyes have never seen. And Hawaii has the purple sweet potato, my friend. If you've never had a bite of a purple sweet potato, it's the next thing closest to heaven. I mean, it's amazing. So we're going to eat good. We're going to have fun. There's going to be four-wheelers involved. There's going to be helicopters involved. There's going to be Maui Jim sunglasses involved. You know what I'm saying? Like we are going to have the time of our lives, and you can do that. Well, get back to the person who invited you to watch this because there's something called a launch box. And that launch box, if you get started with a launch box, you get 15 points towards Hawaii automatically. And then we just got to go score like another 100 points between now and, gosh, I think it's like August or something. It's like forever from now. And you're going to be in Hawaii with us. We just took over 500 people to Mexico with us. You see what I'm saying? So this is the stuff of dreams. I mean, your life is all about the people you know, the places you go, and the books you read. And we're going to walk the beaches of the world together with this. And, we'd love for you to be on that beach right there with us. So moving forward into 2026, we've got new product launches coming. Okay. But we also have a new product category coming in 2026. Now, from a product standpoint, we kind of have like these three arches. It's like brain, body, beauty, and beyond. Okay. Well, right now we have brain and body. Hmm, that's interesting. Anyways, it'd be cool if we had beauty, is what I'm saying. So then we're going to have new limited time offers in 2026. We're going to open up new markets in 2026. I can't say where, but it would be cool if they had maple bacon hydrated. That would be kind of neat. Anyways, don't know where they're going though, so we'll see. And then on top of that, we have the Hawaii trip and more. So, anyways, I do laugh at my own jokes though, so get used to that if you stick around. So, what's next for you? Next step is to enroll as an affiliate. If you're scared, listen, I've been scared, do it scared. If you're kind of nervous or whatever, it's because you're worried that, what if I get excited and this doesn't work? If you'll stick with it, we'll make this work. We'll wake up every single day and fight for you and your family and help you fight for your dreams. How many of you guys are involved in an environment where you got people that actually wake up and think about your family and think about your dreams and think about helping you achieve those every day? Probably not very many of you guys. That happens day one whenever you join the person who invited you to watch this tonight. So that's what's so cool, man. It's a freaking awesome community. And so you want to get enrolled as an affiliate. You want to get products ordered. Do that launch box if you're able to. If you can't do that one, at least do those 3 peptides that I showed you tonight. And then you want to complete your 30-minute training. And then we want to help you start earning income and become the next success story. So thanks so much for hopping on tonight. Make sure you're on that call on the 15th. It's a perfect time to join because you can join, you can get your products on the way, you can complete the 30-minute training. Maybe we can even help you get your first few customers starting like tonight, tomorrow. And then by the 15th, you'll know just enough to be deadly. And then you'll hear all the big news. And like I said, I'd give you about 105,000 reasons to be on that Zoom if I could. So anyways, you guys have a great, great evening. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with me. And thanks for answering, thanks for saying yes to the person that invited you to watch this. And I hope it was of value to you. And I hope you get started with this. Because if you do, man, I'm telling you, the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 20 years and beyond are going to be absolutely the ride of your life. All right, see ya.